You want to sleep in today? Then fucking do it.
Welcome to Muscle Moments. A few years ago, I couldn't wipe my own ass, get in a shower, or walk myself into a store. Multiple surgeries had taken me apart, and what got me back wasn't a diet. It was strength I'd already built. I'm your host, Dana Wildeboer, and I am obsessed with helping people become the strongest, most capable versions of themselves. I've been an athlete my whole life, and I spent decades working my way to the C-suite in corporate. Those two things, coupled with my own health journey, proved to me that strength is the one thing that impacts everything. Your energy, your confidence, your independence, how you age, and how you show up. That's why I coach the way I coach, and the reason I started this podcast. But now that we're into it, I can't wait for you to hear why people who focus on strength and movement as a pillar of their life love it so much, and how it helps them break through their stories and achieve their dreams. It's raw, gritty, and unfiltered. I'm done watching people settle for small when what saves your life is strong. I'm singing it from the rooftops starting now. This is Muscle Moments. Let's get into it. Welcome to Muscle Moments, short, honest conversations about why strength is the one thing that supports everything. I'm your host, Dana Wildeboer. Today's guest spent 18 years as an aerospace systems engineer before founding Lead Intact, where she helps high-achieving founders who've become the bottleneck by building operational structure that fits the person, not just the company. As a serious lifestyle athlete since 2010, with roots in CrossFit and competitive Olympic weightlifting, she'll tell you that the gym is where she learned the most of what she knows about fear, progress, and trusting yourself under pressure. I could not agree more. She treats it as the lab for discomfort, and she's knows firsthand how the confidence you build in one place transfers everywhere else. She'd even verify that her ability to do hard things wasn't born from her vision board, but she does love to create a vision for where she's going. Welcome, Laura Dionisio. I practiced that so hard.
Oh, thank you, Dana.
I appreciate the grace. Welcome to Muscle Moments, Laura. What else do you want the people to know about you before we get into it?
I guess the only other thing is my love of cats. That's completely unrelated, but a fun fact.
We're here to talk about strength, all the places strength show up in your life. And of course, I'm on a mission quest here to show why strength is sexy. So what's your definition of strength?
You know, when I was preparing for this podcast, I was really thinking about what strength means. And I think when it comes to physical strength, it's easy to see strength as the numbers of, like, say, weight you lifted, maybe number of reps and all that. But I was thinking beyond just the gym, right? Like, Dana, you and I were just talking about this before you hit record. Strength, when it comes to mental or emotional fortitude, if we were to zoom out from like the numbers thing, it has to do with basically being consistent in whatever your goal is, having the fortitude to keep going when things happen. So in the case of physical fitness, that could be like injuries or things like that, and discipline. So I think strength isn't just the number on the bar or whatnot. It's really like the journey to get to that number on the bar.
So talk to me about the journey for you.
The journey for me, I'm going to go way back to when this started, which was CrossFit in like 2010. And you remember, Dana, those days where it was just like, CrossFit, is that like a, what do you call that? Is that a cult? That kind of thing. So how my fitness started actually before that is I just had this definition of strength, the number on the scale, and also like number of weight lifted. Although at the time, to be honest, I was the typical, I don't want to get bulky, that kind of thing. And what happened was, because I didn't connect with like why I wanted to be fit, I spent a year hiring personal trainers, not really getting into it. And it wasn't until I got into CrossFit that suddenly I was able to see strength and my body differently. That's when I was kind of like, oh, it feels really good to lift weight on the bar. I'd never done that before. And I got it in my head. I'm like, oh, what if I could get a pull up? I'd never had that desire, because I was the typical woman, I would say, that's like, oh, but my arms, you know? And suddenly it didn't matter. I got this community. And here's what I love about your whole messaging, Dana, is like who I became at the gym translated into other areas of my life. So I was always a corporate girly, not anymore, but at the time I really was. And I was already confident in that space. But what ended up happening at the gym, especially when I got that first pull up, people like celebrating, me looking in the mirror, be like, oh my God, is that a cut in my arm? Like, this is amazing. What I noticed is that as confident as I was already in my corporate career, when I got that first pull up, like that strength, that confidence in myself and who I was, I started carrying myself differently. I don't even remember the question that you had, Dana, but I just wanted to share that story just because it's like, I think especially for women, it's ingrained in our head from the way we grew up, society, the things we've read in magazines, if you're, of the older generation when there were still magazines, that it's about being skinny, that it's about what you see in the mirror. And what really happened to me, I mean, yes, CrossFit, and I did get into the hype, but what really happened to me is I was able to see my body not just for what it looked like, but what it could do.
There it is. I was going to get you there too. I was like, differently, what does differently mean? Differently meant like, oh, this is what I'm capable of. It's not about the numbers at all, right? It's, as you said, it's about the person you become by realizing what you are capable of. And one of the best ways, shocker, that I have found is to like pick up something heavy, because either you can or you can't. So knowing what your body can do in that process of getting to that place, what else did you learn around how the bar teaches you to recognize fear before your brain catches up to it?
Okay, so I will fast forward to like, I don't know, 15 years, right? And this is when Dana asked me to be a guest on the podcast. I was just like, this is such perfect timing, because earlier in the day, I was at the gym, my sacred place. And at the time, I was getting ready to do my leg press machine, right? The specific machine that I use every week, etc. And at the time in my head, I was thinking about something business related. I was like, oh, I am getting ready to promote my founders framework. This is like, I'm so excited about it. It's to help founders scale in a way that feels right to them, not just giving them a solution, but really trying to understand like, how do they work best, like who they work best with, that kind of thing. But I felt like such fear around it. And what I noticed at the gym as I was thinking it is the fear didn't stay like in the business land, so to speak. It actually permeated my sacred gym time. And how I noticed that is in my notes, it said from the week before, mind you, on this particular machine, starting weight is you add plus 170 pounds, which means that I warm up with 45-pound plates each, right? I found myself thinking, oh, wait, maybe I should do 35. Wait, no, let me go for 10 instead. I was just like, hold up. What is happening here? This is not like me. And I realized the fear that I had in one area in my life had permeated my sacred gym time. And I don't mess around with my gains. You get this, Dana. I'm like,
I get this. Yeah.
I made a decision that morning. I'm like, nope, not my sacred gym time. And I decided, wait, if fear can permeate one area like business to gym, then doesn't that mean my confidence at the gym can permeate my business? And I'm like, why not? So I was just like, buy 10. I mean, I use it later, but I took the 45, loaded it up, did my thing. And I was just like, oh my God, look at me. I'm amazing. Like just kind of like brush it off. And I had a call later that day. Now I had been talking about the founders framework to other friends, because this is the way I challenged myself. And Dana, you'll appreciate this. The way this is a direct translation from gym to like other parts of my life. I put myself in specific uncomfortable situations because I know it's going to help me grow. The same way you go up in weight, it's uncomfortable, it's scary, but it's going to help you grow. So I had a call with a friend of mine, and when she asked me how I was doing, just like I'd been doing like the weeks prior, I started talking about it. Oh, I'm creating this new framework called Founders Framework. It's basically a culmination of everything I've learned, like I just explained all of it. And I noticed that for the first time, I felt confident. There wasn't like that fear, oh my God, who am I? Like there's so many other systems out there. Why would anyone listen to me? No, I was just like, it was like casual. And that's when I was like, okay, so it is true. It is true that you can directly just make a decision. If I'm this confident in this area, that means I can be confident in the other area. It's when the first time I realized that compartmentalized confidence is like not a thing. Yeah.
It's not. It can totally, it transcends all your neural pathways. Two things that stood out to me in this story were, one is like you looked at these notes and you're like, well, I said this last week, so I'm better than what I'm thinking right now. but also that same day you felt the confidence, but really that's all rooted in self-trust, right? Like you trusted yourself when you saw that note and you're like, oh no, I trust that note more than I trust what I'm feeling right now. So then you got to sit down at that call and you're like, I got this. I trust I know. Yeah.
Percent, because sometimes our thoughts lie to us. And what I know for sure, I may struggle in other areas in my life at times, but I have been at the gym enough times where I know what that talk sounds like. I'm not saying that I don't have those, what I call self-sabotage thoughts. Hell yeah, I do. I think what's important is that I'm familiar with it. So I don't pretend like it doesn't happen. I'm familiar with it in that space. And because I've been in the space of like fitness and wellness for so many years, I'm familiar with what to do. And I'm familiar with like, I don't necessarily trust those thoughts. I trust the notes because I know that when I wrote the notes, I was in a calm, grounded place. And I will always trust that.
I love that. Lab for discomfort is some of the language we've been toying with here. And you agree that the gym is your lab for discomfort. For someone who's just starting out, how do they borrow confidence from that one part of their life to build it in another, whether it's like, I'm great at work, I'm applying to the gym, or it's, I always say when I start my day with the gym, because then the hardest thing I could possibly do today, I've already done, right? So like for you, how do you help people cross that chasm?
Ooh, love this question, especially because literally when we were having that email exchange, I asked myself the same thing. I was like, oh, how do I get rid of this compartmentalized confidence? And it doesn't matter what area, whether it's like you're confident in your career, but not at the gym, or this is one of my favorites. I'm confident in my career, but not in dating. I have said that too. It's less about the area and more about, okay, if you zoom in to you in that area. So let's just say the gym. So for me, it wasn't just, oh, of course I'm confident in the gym. I've been doing it for 10 years or 20, whatever. Doesn't matter. But how did I feel? Like, what does that even mean? Like confidence? How do I feel? What kind of thoughts do I have? What type of actions do I take? And then for me, I was also curious, what does the opposite look like? So fear, what does that mean? What I noticed in that particular moment at the gym, how fear presented itself were the thoughts of like, oh, ignore your plan or your decision to start at this weight because of the what if scenarios. I'm like, oh, fear looks like what if scenarios. And also I found myself procrastinating, right? So fear looked like having thoughts, what if scenarios, procrastination from an action standpoint. And then like, this is my favorite, like getting really clear about the physical manifestation of it, heart pounding. I didn't feel grounded at all, which to me means like I could feel like I was more up here in my head and not necessarily like feeling, I don't know, my hand on the plate or my feet on the ground, etc. So I would suggest to your listeners, like get clear about what fear and confident like means to you, and then start to ask yourself, okay, if for me, right, like I was trying to be more confident in a business standpoint. I mean, I think I'm clear about what fear looks like in a business standpoint, like same thing that I noticed at the gym. I would procrastinate, I would make a decision and then question it, etc. So then just ask yourself, what could confidence look like in that area? And most of the time it's the opposite of what your actions and thoughts are with fear. So with fear, it looked like questioning my decisions. Well, confidence would be just like, let me just go for it. Fear looks like procrastination. Well, confidence probably is just going ahead and doing it. Fear looks like I'm breathing like really shallowly. Well, confidence probably means I take the time to breathe for a minute.
The thread that keeps coming up between the two parts of our conversation here is it's a choice, right? It is really just a choice to be like, nope, I'm going to be confident about this. Sometimes that's just faking it till you make it, 100%. Right? But face it. How about we say face it until you make it? I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it scared.
100%. And I think this is why I love the concept of gym as my lab, because I have done enough weightlifting meets at this point where the nerves are going to come. I don't know if it's going to come the day before a meet, an hour before, 2 minutes before I step on a platform. And it's really learning to accept and welcome it, not push it down, because I've tried pushing it down, and let me tell you, I like bombed out. It was like my first meet in like 3 years. It was like my first meet post pandemic. So there are a lot of things happening, but I was so messed up that like I had the bar and it like almost hit my head. And I'm like, what am I doing? This weight is a warm up weight. So that's what happens. Yeah, right. That's what happens when you pretend that fear isn't there and you're just trying to push through it. I don't recommend that. And what I've learned from my meet experience actually is like, I have a ritual. I'm sure you do too for when you compete. And part of it is to literally be on the warm up platform in the back, put a 4-minute timer on and just breathe. Really.
And this after your warm up or before?
Before I start anything, because what I've learned is when I do that, when I first started doing it, especially, oh my God, it's been 4 hours. Did I set the alarm? All these thoughts. But what ended up happening is the noises and everything I acclimated to, they became normal. So now if like once I walk out to the platform, you could be yelling at me or whatever. It doesn't matter because I've already acclimated to everything. And it's not that I don't feel the nerves. They're still there. It's almost like I've expanded my capacity to allow more than just the fear to take place. And so I do that a lot now. So before, when it was like my first time doing these podcast recordings as well, I would put a timer on. I wouldn't do 4 minutes, which is funny now. I would do like at least a minute or two to just acclimate. So like I just use honestly the same practices across like multiple areas of my life.
Okay. Yeah. But so 4 minutes at a meet. So but like 1 minute before a call, or how does that translate? What's the tangible takeaway for someone here?
So for me, it's like, what is like, if you know fear is going to be there and you accept that it's just what it is, what area in your life are you the most comfortable with? I'd start there. And then why do you feel confident, right? We talked about that. And then when fear comes up in that area of your life, what is the thing that gets you grounded? And for me, it is literally a timer. It doesn't matter 1 minute, 2 minute, whatever works for you. And for me, it's like breathing. Because it brings me back to present moment. Because what ends up happening with fear sometimes and the anxiety is that you're future focused, right? What if?
Yeah.
Or maybe you're like, oh, I fucked up at that point. But truly, because I have been so used to being an over high performer, etc. And at the time, I thought that it was a great strength to always be projecting. And it wasn't until later burnout, physical manifestation that I'm like, this shit ain't it. This ain't it.
So not it. So we were talking about this a little bit. So this is what everyone has to look forward to on the other side of burnout recovery. But you do still work with founders who are experiencing a lot of stuff like we experienced, to the point where, and I mean, now reflecting on it, I see it in my own career path, especially in my like final roles leading up to my exit. Like I became a bottleneck in my own success.
Yes.
So you're helping founders who've become a bottleneck in their own business. Where do you see physical strength fitting into that?
So it goes back to how I defined strength earlier and how it's not about the end result. The end result is kind of just like a nice to have, actually. And as cheesy as it is, it really is about the journey, not the destination. And so when I think about physical strength, like I think about my first pull-up and how when I got my first pull-up, I was like, yeah. And I was walking around like I was the shit and all that. But really, the journey.
How can really do a pull-up, right? Like there is actually like a confidence signal that comes with that because you just picked yourself up.
And Dane, one of my favorites at the time was being in like an office suit and heels and be like, pull up.
Just on a door jam.
Just what's up? Breaking my shirt open because of my back. Okay. But anyway, the journey to get there, right? And this is what I tell my clients is like, yes, the pull-up is great. And you can say, yes, you hit like 6 figures consistently. Amazing, right? So for the founder, usually the clients that I work with, they scale almost by accident. And we were just talking about this, Dana, where like they just started doing something they love. It turns into 1 client, 2, 3, and then speaking engagements, etc. And it worked without a plan for a while. And they're holding, like they don't have a system. They are the system. And what I tell my clients is, okay, great. Are you actually enjoying your life now? Dana just made a face, right? Like you started
I feel that I was the system.
You were the system. And it was fun on the way there because you felt really connected, etc. But then it got to the point where you as a system no longer have capacity and the life that you're living isn't fun anymore. And hey, isn't this why you left corporate to begin with? And you're working 60 hours a week, something you love, and you didn't want to work like this. So then this is what I work with my clients with is, what would you actually love? And what would that look like? You know, like what are some of the things about your business that you actually love to do and only you can do? And don't say, but I have to be the one to personally email everyone and I have to personally manage my calendar, because that's probably not true. And I won't tell them to their face, Dana, but most of the time it's a control thing, right? I mean, I get it. That's been me. If I don't do it my way, no one can get it except. So I know that. So I lovingly steer my clients to, like, I'm not saying you have to suddenly trust me or whoever you hire, but to your point, something that you said earlier, Dana, is like that self-trust. Can I trust myself to let go? Can I trust myself to find the right person, the right system? Can I trust myself to pivot or make adjustments if things don't go according to plan? And that's why I'm really passionate about this, Dana, because when I started studying like actual entrepreneurial system frameworks, etc., there was about getting to know the needs of the founders first, or the life that they're looking for. It's really building trust, not only in my relationship with my client, but in them and themselves. Because as high achievers, overperformers, we have outsourced our trust because our value was, how well can I perform? How productive can I be?
How much money can I make?
How much money can I make?
Yes.
There's no trust in self because you're constantly chasing. And so month one is really like detoxing all that. Again, I don't say that because nobody wants to hear that when you're in the grind, whatever. Yeah. But I'm prepared for that to happen. And I'm prepared to be like, hey, guess what? You took 2 hours off and like, look how well your team is doing. So then that's how you like slowly build up. So like the 3-month ramp really underneath the surface, like of the pretty graphics or whatever, is month one is the like releasing the like understanding what the beliefs are that were causing you to overperform, and releasing and learning to trust. And month two is kind of like a baby learning how to walk for the first time. So I fully expect the founder to be breathing down my neck or down their team. And it's just kind of like a, hey, like, where's this coming from? You know, just kind of like soothing. And then month three really is when I've noticed like we start to really see more like a calm and like, okay, I can do this. I can release. And the good news is now the first open to like identity work. And now they're like, oh my God, I now see what you mean about identity work.
That I want to point out here is like, it takes time, right? Like it takes time. Sure, you can build the habit, but you don't start to feel you don't really start to understand the impact of that habit until 8 weeks down the line, right? Because it's just like, it's jarring at first and it's disruptive to what you thought your self-trust was. And that things your confidence, right? So it's literally like, I need to take 10 steps back so that I can run forward.
It also reminds me, Dana, of like, you know, being injured and then working your way up to the and this is why, Dana, when you're like, Laura, you want to be on my podcast, I'm like, yes, because the gym has saved my life, because truly
many times over.
Because I have learned resilience of what I see as a setback, right? Like I dislocated my shoulder I guess 10 years ago now. And I was devastated because I didn't know this at the time, but CrossFit was a huge part of my identity. Like, who am I if I can't do this? If I can't do my pull-ups? But then like the resilience came in and I'm like, all right, bet. I will become Chun-Li and have really, really strong legs. And and like humor for me is a huge thing. And I'm like, I'm just going to call myself T-Rex. But it's just kind of like the pivot, like my ability to find humor and pivot, etc. These are the same tools I use. Like say I'm trying to launch a program and nobody buys it. Yeah, I let myself be sad for a moment. And then it's like, okay, what did I learn from this? What am I going to do next? How can I become Chun-Li in this moment? You know, like the equivalent. Like this path may not have worked, but that doesn't mean that this path is completely wrong. It just means like I have to like reroute myself.
Yes. And being honest about that too. So I have a question for you from a previous guest. I am taking note out of Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett's book. Our previous guest wants to know, what's a win you are celebrating right now?
Oh my God, Dana, this is so perfect. Can't make this shit up. I'm turning 40 in like 3 weeks. Go. And as my 40th birthday gift to myself, I decided to gift myself a boudoir photo shoot.
Oh, I saw your stories. That was love.
That's what it was. And the last time I had done that, I was 26. So the prime, like all that. And so I'm excited. And it's a win for me because it's like, because I had such a great mindset when I was 26 and did the photo shoot of thinking, Laura, you are not to compare yourself to this moment later and you're not to judge yourself, blah, blah, blah. Now I look at it and I'm like, wow, look at the softness in my body, but also the fierceness and the unapologetic way that I present myself. Because at 26, my boudoir photo shoot is like me in lingerie, but at the gym by a big ass tire. It's like this. I ain't rolling around in no sheets. I'm strong and fierce. You know?
I never did one, but it definitely would have been the same.
Right?
Like me, my foot up on like 4 plates on the deadlift.
Oh yeah, I was like the pull up rack like a pole. You know, I'll send you photos. It's fucking hilarious. But I was like in your face. I'm strong.
Yeah.
That kind of, and now I'm like, I'm still in your face and strong, but there's a softness in me that I have embraced, which I would not have before. Because at that time I was literally, I don't want to be rolling around in the sheets. And so that's my win, is that I'm like, wow, I'm still that version of me at 26 in front of a tire. Like, don't give a shit, you know? And I have expanded my capacity to allow softness in my life. And it's just been such a gift to myself to not have to be so freaking hard all the time.
Oh, well, I love that for you. And I feel that for myself too. I do think that is something we can learn as we just like, you don't have to white knuckle everything, right? It can be flow. It took me a very long time to learn that.
Yes. Yeah.
As we wrap up, any questions you wish I asked or any parting words for our audience?
Dana, this has been such a pleasure.
It's a great time. I'm going to tell the people, where can they find you?
So I'm very active on social media. On Instagram, you can follow me at laura.m.dionisio. And then you can also follow me on my website, www.leadintact.com. Have a lot of free shit on there. My podcast is on there as well. But really, social media is probably the fastest way to get a hold of me.
Awesome. Everything's linked below in the description. That's it for us today, Laura. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Muscle Moments. I hope you enjoyed it. This is just your quick reminder that any advice or information that has been shared on this episode is for entertainment purposes only. This is not medical advice from a healthcare provider. These are conversations with me and my friends about why strength is awesome. If you have questions about what your body is experiencing, make sure you find the coach or practitioner that's right for you. If you want to learn more about Will to Fit coaching, you can find the link in the bio.